Morning, FFC. It is great to be with you this morning. Today is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Just so happy that you're joining me this morning, or whenever you're watching this. And so if you have a Bible, and I'll give you a few moments if you need to go grab yours, but turn to Deuteronomy chapter 6, and we're going to be in verses 13 through 15. So like I said, I hope you're having a wonderful day and that the Lord certainly blesses us each and every day. So let me go ahead and read those verses to you, and then we'll kind of dig into that. So Deuteronomy 6, 13 through 15 says this: "Fear the Lord your God, worship him, and take your oaths in his name. Do not follow other gods, the gods of the peoples around you, for the Lord your God is among you, is a jealous God. Otherwise, the Lord your God will become angry with you and obliterate you from the face of the earth." All right, so let's dig into this. Let's take a look at what God is telling us through Deuteronomy 6 here. And so the first thing, right, that he tells us is fear the Lord your God. And so what does that mean? Fear the Lord your God. Should we fear him? Or, is that a good thing? Yeah, it's a good thing, because when we fear something, like not like, oh, I'm scared of it, but when we fear something, there's a reverence for it. There's a healthy respect for it. You know, and you oftentimes you think of a child and their parent, and if the child has a healthy fear of their parents, they're going to hear them and they're going to listen to them, and they're going to do what they say. And so God knows that we as a people can tend to be very forgetful, very flippant in what we do. And he's reminding us in this whole passage, even going back a few verses, where he's reminding Israel of the things he's done for them, and to make sure that they're sharing those things with their children and their children's children and so on, because he blesses us. He blesses us each and every day with such amazing things. And so he wants us to remember that. And in this instance, he wants us to remember, fear me. Fear me because I have great things that I'm telling you. And when you're fearful of me, you're listening and you hear what I'm telling you, and you'll do it because you're fearful. But it's a healthy respect for him. It's not I'm terrified of him. No, it's a healthy reverent respect for God. And that's what we should have. And he continues on here. He says, worship him, right? Because he's worthy to be worshiped. And take your oaths in his name, right? We heard about oaths yesterday, swearing, right? Swearing an oath. And so that's just showing that we're committed to God, not to other things. God, once again, God knows how flippant and forgetful we can be. And so he wants us to remember, no, we need to fear him. We need to be worshiping him. When we're worshiping him and serving him, he's on our mind. We're thinking about him. We're doing the things he's asked us to do, right? And so we've shown a level of commitment. And that's what he's telling us, because he knows what is best for us. He knows what we need in our day-to-day life. All the other things that we're distracted by, and we'll get to those in a second, but all the things that we're distracted by aren't what's best for us. And so God's wanting to remind us, no, follow me, right? And so then he goes into verse 14. He says, do not follow other gods, the gods of the peoples around you. So the Israelites were being consumed by people groups around them that served other gods, literally other gods. And they were starting to worship them and give in to that. And so maybe that's not our problem today. Maybe we're not finding ourselves with tons of different people with other gods around us. But what are we making gods in our life? What are the things that are getting our attention and taking priority over God? God the Creator, Yahweh, right? What is that in our life? Maybe it's technology. Maybe it's social media. Maybe it's relationships. Maybe it's hobbies. You know, whatever it is, and it may look different for every single person. But God's pointing out here, don't let those things consume you. Don't let those things take priority over you, because they don't have your best interest. They don't know what you need. And our God, our Creator, knows us, right? He knit us together in our mother's womb. He knows every single thing about us, and he knows what's best for us. And so he doesn't want us to serve other things that don't have our best interests, that don't care about us, that do not love us. And so we must take that and hear that and understand that and commit ourselves to the one true God, right? And here's he finishes us off in the first part of verse 15. For the Lord your God is among you, is a jealous God. All right, so we'll focus on the last part, but just hear that. For the Lord your God, and there's this really neat insert here, okay, right? Who is among you? What is that telling us, right? That for the people, right, that they're serving other gods, those gods weren't among them. They're not real. But this is telling us, right, that God is here. He's with us. He is among us. What an amazing truth, and what a blessing to know that we serve a God that is with us, that is among us. Not some distant thing off somewhere else, not just a statue somewhere, but he is here. He is with us daily alongside us. What a great truth. But then it finishes, right? He is a jealous God. Now, that might be a weird thing to hear. Well, why is God, the God of the Creator, how can he be a jealous God? And for what it is, we have to kind of disassociate our understanding and this idea of jealousy that we can have versus the way God does it, right? For us, it's not like, when we're in a relationship, right? And it seems like someone might be flirting with our significant other, and I'm getting jealous. Or for me, maybe the neighbor across the street has a really nice manicured green lawn, and mine is kind of splotchy and not so great. No, it's not that. But for God, right? What is Deuteronomy? We see this earlier, right? Deuteronomy 4:24 says, "For God, your Lord, your God, is a consuming fire." Right? He is among us, and so he knows once again what is best for us, and he knows that when we aren't with him, when we aren't consumed by him, there's only one other option for us, and that's sin. And so when we're not following him, when we're not doing the things he's asked us to do, and we're not focused on him, we're sinning. When we're making other things a priority, when he's taking a back seat to other things in our life, we're sinning, and he knows that, and he knows that sin is not good for us. He knows that that is not the best thing for us, and so he wants the best for us through him. Not what makes us happy. That's a different thing. Because happiness does not equal godliness. It does not equal holy. But God knows what's best for us in him. And so he is jealous in a sense that it hurts. It's painful to see his people doing things that aren't good for them. And so he aches for us. And so in that sense, he's jealous. Not because, he needs this ego boost or anything like that, but because he hurts for his people. He's grieved. And so so we have to realize that we have a God that we know loves us, that cares about us. And so when we look at what he's telling us here, and this reminder for us, right, that he loves us and he cares about us, we need to be focused. We need to be dwelling in him. We need to be consumed by him, not the things around us, not the distractions, but we need to realize we need to fear him. We need to understand that the things he says are true and real and that they're good for us. We need to worship him for that. We need to commit ourselves, swearing an oath to serve him and only him, and not let these other things that happen distract us from what is important. There's so much going on in our world right now that can be very distracting. But we need to be focused on him and his word and the truths that are in his word and proclaiming the truth of the gospel, right? Because through these blessings, through the best things for us, he's given us Christ. This atoning sacrifice that brings about an immense amount of grace and mercy and love and justice. And so those are the things we should focus on. And those are the things we need to be proclaiming to the nations. And so take heart in this, that this is a wonderful reminder to us that these truths are in his word and that we have a God who desires to be in a relationship with us. What an amazing truth that is. So FFC, I hope you were blessed this morning by God's word. Can't wait to see everybody again this coming Sunday. And if you remember, if you have some time, this Wednesday, prayer is a huge, important part of this, right? And so join us at 7:30 for our prayer meeting, because it's a wonderful time of just being with the Lord, being with others as we lift these things up to the Lord. So hope to see you then. If not, it'd be wonderful to see you all on Sunday morning. Have a wonderful week.